So I talked about this in yesterday's video. I told you there would be articles like this. I knew it was coming, and we have the first one right here. I expect most of them to be modeled after this one. So I'm going to go over this one, and then if some more come out, unless they're really devastating, I'm probably not going to cover those. We'll just talk about this one, because I expect them all to be pretty similar to this one. This one's kind of funny, because it actually gets salty about The Last of Us Part 2, which I didn't see that coming. That's great. They're salty that no one's defending that there was no passion for The Last of Us 2 like this. So we'll go over that. But a little recap. This is, of course, a hit piece on Top Hat Studios, who came out the other day and said, listen, we're not going to censor our game. You can keep requesting that we do this, but we're not going to do it. This is mostly happening to them now because they're putting a game on the Nintendo Switch, which comes out next week. Now, what's funny about this article is that these games journalists, I know, top of the line when it comes to journalism, right? They are at the top of the food chain, the highest order, the biggest of the biggest, the baddest of the bad. I'm kidding. They're pathetic. But the reason that I find this funny is that these journals wouldn't even have taken notice of this game at all or even talked about it if they hadn't come out and said something. It's similar to Subverse. If that Subverse early access game, Arch Warhammer covered the game. They gave him a code, and he did a big review of the game early before it's come out. This, of course, got the attention of games journalists who wrote hit pieces on the game because they worked with him. They don't want him reviewing a game. They don't want a company being reviewed by him because he says edgy things. So they therefore try to cancel the studio for working with him. And it's just kind of the similar thing here. A lot of the people that are supporting Top Hat Studios right now are saying, yeah, we don't like NPC Puritans. We don't like SJW. We think that they're censorship happy. And we just don't like their weirdo things that they do. So now that crowd is supporting the game, and they don't like that. So naturally, when you utilize that side and you go to them for support, even though they didn't really do that, we kind of went to them, it's going to get hit pieces made on you. And that's why I was expecting this. I was expecting them to drop stuff, and there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a few more, actually, and I expect them to try to cancel the developers and stuff. That's why, okay, so they say anti-censorship or viral marketing, right? And you can put that point, and I think it is a fair thing to ask, are they just doing viral marketing? But if you look at their receipts, and here's the thing about this article says that they're liars and they never got it. Here's what made me want to do this video right here. So they dropped a ton of receipts, and I can show you them again. See them right here, because a lot of people called out and said that, oh, well, no one was asking them to censor this game. No one told them to do this. And then they dropped the receipts. Now, here, the funny thing about this in the article right there is they say that these are tame messages, that these messages aren't bad. There's not really anything bad. There's what is it? To say direct this not that this excuses some of the direct messages portrayed in the screenshot, but says a lot of them are tame. The public tweets here are relatively tame for the most part. Well, what about like this one right here? Stupid effing garbage incel BS you're peddling. Hope you get the rope. And there's more like that. Sure, yeah, that's tame. Now, what's funny is the article doesn't even quote that. Because let's be honest, most people that read that article aren't going to go and look at the actual messages themselves. And you're going to see a lot of stuff talking about male gaze. They get told to take themselves out back in Minecraft themselves quite a bit. There's some pretty nasty stuff in here. But, this article is not going to go over that. Now, this is what made me really fun. This was what made me really laugh right here is like this. When they said this. Also, a lot of them are justified art styles like this. Also, a lot of them are justified, talking about the complaints. Art styles like this, they're outdated. That's not a call for censorship. It's a fact of style. Is it censorship when anti-SJW crowd complained that Abby's arms were too big in The Last of Us Part 2? Well, no, because no one's going to try to cancel Naughty Dog for doing that, right? There's no... In fact, if anything, you guys hailed the studio as a groundbreaking bastion of woke progressiveness and went after anybody that criticized the game. They were sexist, bigots, and all that stuff. That's what happened. So they didn't get canceled. But see, it's a dangerous thing to do what Top Hat Studios did. That's why it's saying, like, the game's been out for a while. It's not really... The game's been out on Steam for, like, a year now. Okay, it's going to Switch, but the majority of the money that this thing is going to make is most likely on Steam. So they're a little late to the party if they were going to use this for viral marketing. Will it boost Switch sales? Yeah, probably. The salt here, though, is they're mad that people are actually putting their money where their mouth is. So here's one of the things. So when they come out here and they're mad, they're literally mad that... So here's the thing, okay? And they point out here, there was about 60 reviews on there before all of this stuff went down. They've tripled since then. So a lot of people have actually bought the game. And they bought it for the fact that Top Hat Studios has stood up for themselves and given these weirdos the finger. And it's actually selling their product for them because they refuse to censor and they stand up to weirdos. And it worked, and they made money. So they're on here getting salty, talking about how the fact that, oh, I can't believe people are buying this game. Well, how dare they do this? How dare they support this behavior? That's the true intention of this article here. But I just found it really funny that they're talking about The Last of Us Part 3. What the hell does that game have to do with anything? But of course they're going to mention that game, right? Of course they're going to mention that game. So... is it viral marketing? The game's been out for a long time. You know, I'm sure that they wanted to get some sales for the game, but if you look at all of the receipts that they've put out, it's pretty clear, and this isn't even all of them. RG has been talking about this for a while, Raging Golden Eagle, and he's been talking about how they've been hitting up Top Hat Studios for a while. But of course, you can't expect games journalists to do any actual research. They just don't do those kinds of things. They're beneath that. Or they're above that. They're too busy drinking their lattes up in that bay apartment that they live in, looking down on the little folks, the peasant gamers that they detest and hate and despise. So they don't bother to do 10 seconds of research because they can't be bothered doing that kind of stuff. And what do you expect them to do? Journalism? Come on now. That's in fact, asking them to do that, that's really some kind of istophobic behavior that you should really stop doing, okay? Don't expect them to do any kind of journalism. That's very bigoted of you. But yeah, first one, and they're all going to be modeled after this. They're going to call them liars, even though they've dropped receipts, and they're not going to go through them and really dissect them. Now imagine if this had been to Naughty Dog, they'd go through every damn tweet there, and they would actually cherry pick the worst ones, and that's all you would see. That's all you'd see. So I expect more of these. I would say they're probably all going to be similar, calling them liars, even though they've dropped receipts, which is just ridiculous. Keep supporting the game if you want. I think it's funny because it does seem to trigger these woke journalists, and hey, I think that's hilarious and fantastic. Anyway. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.